Hello again. Overview of experiences on the ride to within Chernivtsi, then from Chernivtsi to Kamyanets Podilsky, and in Kamyanets itself with this bike. So I bought this bike second hand. At first the belt was a bit too, what is it called? Not stiff, not taut enough. Just the tension was too low, and I heard a sort of rubbing sound, and it is from the belt not engaging exactly into there's a center section in the belt, and it goes around this center section of the cog, and when you pull hard then it would rub, and you hear a sound similar to when a fender rubs on the belt. So the sellers tightened it, made it more taut by changing this. You keep this lock nut fixed and then rotate this to push it out or in. First you need to loosen these two. This is like a movable section on the other side as well. And it was too taut, and so at first I heard some rubbing. At the end, during my ride, I sometimes heard some kind of noise. I didn't know exactly what creaking noise. I think it was because the belt was too taut, and so I loosened it a little, and it seems to be gone. There's still creaking, but it seems to be only from the saddle. There's a bit of a downside to the saddle. It creaks a bit, but that's with Brook saddles as well. The pinion rear hub has a rear, let's see if I can show. No. Very, very noisy freewheel. I'm not too keen on that. And there's a second freewheel in the bike. This is a bit clunky. I think if you start pedaling again, then you feel and hear it engage, and it's a bit noisy or sort of click sometimes. So these I've installed. The saddle I installed. This bike lock I took with me from the Netherlands as well, which I installed. 2 bolts from the kickstand. They're actually M5, but they should be M6. I couldn't find them here in Kamyanets. I will see in Kiev if I can find them. M6 30mm stainless with lock nut. That's what they should be. And one of the bolts was bent, but I think that's because the other bolt was loose, was gone. So I had to go to a bike shop. They only had a M5 standard bolt. It'll do for now. Lighting, EQX, IQX. I don't like it at all. You will have seen possibly the video that I made on a bike ride in Ukraine. The same issues that I had in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands on good roads, here in Ukraine on good roads and on bad roads. I always had the issue that the beam seems off, like there's something not straight in the beam. I hate that light. It's absolute shit. Then ragtime rear light works very well. It's lit up like this, like lines, like the Bush and Müller Line Plus. This is a reflector. There was some moisture in it when after the rain, when I was in Chernivtsi, it rained, and a few hours later I went on the bike trip to Kamyanets, and I noticed the moisture here inside. I will see what happens, how it will hold up. Let me see what else. Yeah, I changed these as well. These hold up very well in the heat. I have the original ones, but these are the same ones that my sister felt were a bit sticky from a good German brand. What's the name? I can't come up with it at the moment. And these are okay. They're never sticky. It's real cork on the outside, not a cork mixture with some sort of plastic or something, which often are. However, I really like more those cork with rubber or plastic sticks mixtures. They give better grip. Some of them are sticky, though I don't like those. But I noticed that where applicable on my website with the reviews and in the videos as well. What else can I say? Shimano DHUR 700 or 708. 708. Yeah, 708. I feel some vibrations in the front wheel on a good road with light on versus light off. You notice it. Even a slight amount of play from it's almost unavoidable with any headsets, will give some kind of vibrations. So even on the titanium bike with the aluminium front fork, I wrote a lot about it, about my experiences with the roll-off hub and trying to get rid of vibrations of all kinds. I had to fix the belt line and other things, but the dynamo hub was also an issue, so I had to tighten the headset to mostly get rid of the vibrations, but still I could feel them in a very big range, about 21 to 29 kilometers per hour. Not very strong, but I could still feel them. So it's always an issue. There is, I think you can mitigate some of it with the electronics in the lights, or you could, I have to say, but manufacturers just aren't interested in those kinds of things, just as they are not interested in using neutral white light. So I rode with the Lumitel B01 along with the EQX. The Lumitel B01 is a lot better in beam pattern and light color. This one is only useful, I think, as an addition for long, to see far ahead, like 70 meters. Then, because this has a pretty good reach, you can see some things when you're going fast downhill. We rarely need it, I have to say, but if you need it, yeah, it works for that purpose only. Other than that, I think it's junk. Let's see. Yeah, well, I will see how this will hold up. The bolt has held up. Nothing else has vibrated loose, so the contact glue that I put on all the bolts and nuts worked to keep them all tight, and so that none got loose anymore. Disc brakes, Shimano XT disc brakes. You know, I'll have to check how much is worn of the pads, because I've been needing to brake a lot because you can't ride fast in many places, in this area at least, because the roads are bad. So you're going uphill and the downhill you need to be really careful, or you can go into a pothole and destroy one of your wheels. Bike, tires. Marathon All Motion 38 millimeters on the front, Marathon plus 40 millimeters on the rear. These work actually well enough for just about anything, so don't really need more than this, I think, although 50 would be safer for going into potholes and stuff like that. I mean, then you have a more bigger distance to the rim, some more safety. But I could go up and down all hills with gravel, with rocks, with pebbles. Here in Kamyanets, also some really steep sections downhill and uphill towards a nice, interesting castle and some old church. I will show a bit more about that in another video. That's it for now. Bye.